And I cannot go live on LinkedIn. Nice, but that's not a problem. I will go live on YouTube only. And YouTube. Are we live on YouTube?
Yep. Hello.
Yeah,
Everyone.
I can see us now. That's great. And action. Okay, so well, thank you everyone for joining to our online meetup, the first Blockchain Game Alliance meetup that we are organizing, and probably one of many to come. For this one, we've decided to have new speakers that have just joined the Blockchain Game Alliance this month. So we are giving them the opportunity to present their games, their service, and everything that they are bringing to the ecosystem. And we hope that we will be able to create new, exciting networking opportunity, new ideas will come, etc. We'll try to have this event happening, I think, once a month, maybe more, and have various topics. Sometimes we will bring the new members to present. Sometimes we'll try to make it more in the form of working groups. Sometimes it will be a presentation involving speakers from the industry on several topics, whether it could be related to mobile gaming, it could be related to specific token standards or blockchain, etc. We're actually really looking forward also all your feedbacks and comments to make this better. And we hope you will like already what you're going to see today. Thank you. So I'll start with a quick presentation of what is the Blockchain Game Alliance. Blockchain Game Alliance, it's a non-profit organization which is committed to promoting blockchain within the video game industry. So our goal is to spread the awareness about what is blockchain, what are non-fungible tokens, what is actually decentralized gaming, and all these new opportunities that are opening for both game developers, players, creators, and potentially all the actors within this video game industry, and thus encourage the adoption of this technology, enabling to sparkle new ideas and move forward for creating, publishing, playing, and building games in a new way. We are also providing an open forum for discussion for all the individuals and companies who are members, enabling them to share knowledge, share contact, network, and create opportunities for them to generate potential business, meaning acquiring users, acquiring visibility for their games, their products, their services, acquiring new users, and all together move the space forward with this goal that there will be a growing adoption of the technology by both developers and users at the end of the day. So this is a map of all our members. As you can see, we have now grown over 100 companies have joined, including major gaming companies like Ubisoft, Animoca Brands. We have so many, it's hard to name all of them, but I'm really happy that we're lacking space already. So join us, help us grow this picture and show that together we are stronger, all united and working for the same goal of growing this space and the adoption in it. Some of our board members who have been the founding members of the Blockchain Game Alliance include myself as the president. I just joined recently this month. We have Alex Amsel, which is the secretary and also a founder of Metaboss. Shaban Sham, who is from Everdreamsoft. Nicolas Poir from Ubisoft. Ludovic Rousselas from Consensus. Gabi Dyson from Alto and Altitude Games. Nicolas Gillot from Ultra. And Marc Coupal from MJ. And among all the different activities of the BGA, we have been focusing on 4 key areas. The first one being networking, offering to our member a space like Discord, Telegram, and other communication channel for them to exchange, share. We have one-to-one industry introduction, various speaking opportunities. So on regular basis, we are offering to our members to speak at various events around the world, not only in the blockchain industry or the video game industry, but can be really a large spectrum. And organizing events and meetup either ourselves, like today, or in partnership with other event organizers. We are also focused on making research and report and sharing the reports from this research with the whole industry. So we have established working groups, workshops, and publication on our Medium. We're here to bring more visibilities to our members. So we act as a communication channel, and we hope that by unifying some of our resources in terms of social media presence, this new YouTube channel, our Medium, or PR contact, we can help you as a company founder to reach even more people through the Alliance. And we are here to advocate for what are the benefits of blockchain, this new technology, and all its possible usage for to the benefit of developers and players. Some of the previous activities of last month and the coming months. So we started this decentralized gaming work group managed by Edward Thompson from the Web3 Foundation. We have run several meetups, including the NFT London one last week, inviting some of our some speakers from the Blockchain Game Alliance. We have partnered with some accelerator program and give them access to the members to the possibility to apply, pitch, and potentially receive grants. We have given free tickets to several events where those tickets are normally paid ones. We have organized industry dinners and various occasions for the members to meet in various more casual moments, sometimes to bring new ideas, open discussion opportunities. And I'm looking forward this month also to run our free first webinar on a specifically on legal topics, inviting Shepard Merlin, James Gatto from Shepard Merlin, who is a prominent US legal advisor, which is helping around topics like blockchain and non-fungible tokens. Let's give a warm welcome to our new member this month. So to name them, we have Artic Seascape, Horizon Blockchain Games, Upland, Blockchase, dFuse, Dark Country / Immortal Games, Wax, Somnium Space, Sky Mavis / also known for Axie Infinity, and Status. Thank you, and welcome to them. And without further ado, we are going to have amazing speakers who will be presenting for each one of them for 10 minutes, their game, product, or services, followed by a 5-minute Q&A where you'll be able to ask them any question. And if they have some NFTs, you will be eligible to receive that NFTs. We will pick one random winner among the one who asked them questions. Yep. That's the agenda. So we'll start with dFuse, then after Upland, followed by Horizon Blockchain Games, Somnium Space, Immortal Games, Status, Wax, the NFT London Meetup team, Axie Infinity, and we'll end around 7:30 CET time with some wrapping notes and potentially more time for Q&A if we didn't have time for some speakers. I wanted to give a big thanks to some of our sponsors, which are helping the Blockchain Game Alliance and even more. AMD, Ubisoft, Matic, MakerDAO, and Animoca Brands. That's it. Thank you for following us. You can follow our actuality on Twitter, Medium, check our website, and join our Telegram group as well. And we'll be happy to discuss further if you want to apply to become a member as well. All right. So we're going to go with Alexandre first. So I will put Alexandre.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Very good.
If you want to share your screen.
Yes, I'm going to start. So hi, I'm Alex from dFuse, and I'm going to present the company, what we're doing. Hopefully it fits right in to the blockchain gaming space. So I'm going to shift my screen here. I'm going to share that Chrome tab. It has a neat feature for presentations. Okay, so here's an overview of dFuse. But dFuse is an open source blockchain data stack. We've just recently open sourced. We've been working for 2 years on an awesome data stack that allows people to build solutions and build things that consume blockchain data. When things happen on the blockchain and you want to feed that into your application in a reliable way, then dFuse is a great option. We've designed the whole thing to be absolutely low latency and streaming first. And we've started on EOS. We've now rolled out on Aetherium, and we're working on other protocols right now. And we've designed it. It was a very fast chain, so very appropriate for even real-time gaming. I remember seeing those lasers in the first games using dFuse, where people could real-time boost the strength of the laser that was going into the air, right? So we really want to bring that streaming first and yet powerful and APIs. So I'm gonna go. So we're a bunch of serial entrepreneurs. We built businesses before, some of which lastly was sold to Intel and my co-founders, especially. Right. So let me give you a little bit of what you can get when you build on dFuse. dFuse is just that base layer access to the blockchain with transactions going in and changes of state and all these things, so you can listen to the blockchain and see what's going on. What we've seen is that people who are using, namely on Ethereum, we've rolled out on Ethereum, and people that shifted to our platform were able to cut down 90% of their code handling reading blockchain for many reasons, but most especially because people try to query a bunch of nodes that are not always in consistent view, and we're giving endpoints to which you can pass bits of data that are more reliable. Even over disconnections, you get back and you come back exactly where you left off with a guarantee you'll never miss a beat. That doesn't say never miss a beat. I have another t-shirt that says never miss a beat. And so yeah, we've designed everything to be like tent poles. You know how tent poles, you fit them in like that? And when you push on one side, it pushes on the other side. Everything in the platform comes from the blockchain node and pushes straight to the users. And we've designed the whole thing to be extremely reliable. And all of that now is open source for people to run on their premise, to run on their laptop, or on large scale networks, to run on a cluster, which we're doing also as dFuse. We offer a hosted service, so that can be done. And also, the whole thing has been designed for business continuity, because we've seen. I remember seeing that that provider being down for 3 weeks because they said, "Oh, we need to reprocess the chain and replay," and they were down for 3 weeks. Like, we never want that to happen for our platform, so we've designed everything for extremely fast parallel reprocessing, so that when you're down for a moment, you actually can go in parallel and catch up to where you were, and make sure you're always like super tight with the network. And we've built all these things on a GraphQL API, so that your mobile games, you want them to be as terse as possible in terms of payload, where you can stream, have precise queries to what you want to get from the chain, have a guarantee you'll never miss a beat, even through the disconnection or changes of LTE network or whatever, and choose just the payload you want for your game, because you're going through GraphQL and you're selecting just the the amount of data you want. And the thing we know scales up to 10,000 transactions per second. We're rolling out chains that even go further than that. So we know the platform scales, and it's going to allow to grow with your game and your users. And as a hosted provider, we can also sustain like hundreds of thousands of users. I'll bring in, like, the thing scales horizontally. So I mean, it's a great option for being very tight, real time with your audience. So one of the product there is dFuse Search, which is an interesting blend of real-time search, real-time what's going. So where's the future here? This way for you guys. So real-time search, but also historical. So you can search the whole blockchain in a second for very precise and then stream that query coming into the future. And it handles all the blockchain intricacies of eventual consistency and, fork reorganization and all these things. The search handles that for you. So the consuming code can be very simple. That's how people cut down 90% of their code. And then there's also another axis of data. There's the transaction stream. There's also the state, which changes at each block. And for example, we have that for EOS.io chains, which change each 0.5 seconds. Sometimes you have a million rows. It's difficult to get a consistent view. Well, we provide snapshots at any block height. So you can always be sure, like, what are the NFTs this user had at that exact point in time, like as if the chain was frozen. Well, that's the sort of service we bring to the different chains we roll out. And another thing for great user experience is the life cycle. I've experienced, you go to the site and then you send a transaction, $16,000, and then you're just waiting there for 20 seconds and no feedback. It's crazy. I think brings the So we created those services that you can send a transaction and track it, see where it's at. And it gives you, then again, a simple stream that tells you the state of the transaction. Is it pending? Is it going inside the next block? Is it forked out? Is it being replaced? Is it canceled, expired, whatever? All the states of the different blockchains. You get one streaming endpoint. So you can hook that to a nice user widget so that they know where they're at and they get a feeling there's ground under their feet, even though it's a blockchain, right? And then there's also a bunch of services to help people send transaction, either by cross-signing or then giving you better reliability and knowing when you send a transaction that it's now in a block. You can give certain levels of confirmation. So from the developer's perspective, again, send one transaction and you get the feedback when you get certain confirmation, a certain number of confirmations or irreversibility or certain numbers of handoffs in EOS.io chains, for example, whatever the protocol underneath, like we're going to give you. So the level of guarantee you expect, but always in the same call. So yeah, I said we were on EOS.io chains. We're also on Wax. I think it's going to be very cool to see all the things coming on these fast chains where you have rich account systems, which I like. And we're on Aetherium, a bunch of networks there, and public and private EOS.io chains. Is there anything there? Yeah, that's a look at the stack there. And you have connectors to connect data systems. So, the dFuse open source platform is similar to Apache Spark in a way, where you have blockchain data first class, and then it goes to other systems, right? And we also offer that as dFuse Cloud, where you can come and we'll spin up a network for you, either producing and not producing, doing the blocks for you, or just linking. And we also have that, on-prem for enterprise. If you want to roll that internally, we're doing that today. It's good. It's a good offer, I think. Like, people appreciate that, and it comes with our block explorers, which is just shim on top of the powerful dFuse infrastructure and APIs underneath. I guess that's it for me. I mean, if you have questions, I'll gladly take them. If you want to interrupt me, I appreciate that. And yeah, go ahead. So do I pick up questions somewhere here? I guess you guys can interrupt too.
I think yesterday they were coming through we were like able to drag them over from live comments.
Wow.
Let's see.
That's interesting. Was it clear? You guys all understand what the thing is? He's laughing, Upland. What are you laughing at?
Good presentation.
I'm happy to throw it out there.
Thank you.
I mean, we work with dFuse all the time at Wax, and it's a fully integrated product on our chain, and it's been wildly helpful. I can speak from every single major dApp that we've worked with, especially with larger IP partners. It's been used and will be used in every single one of those applications. It's kind of become a requirement. So yeah, I mean, Alex and team, they've been great. So from the chain perspective, there's feedback for you guys. You should check them out.
Use resources. So, the dFuse platform sits on top of the nodes somehow, and it doesn't itself, it's not a decentralized network. There's no token. It's just technology, right? Just like when you would install whatever new system like Apache Spark or these projects. It's an open source project. You hook on. It's not gamified in any way, right? Yeah, saving 90% of the code is important. I think too, because you know what? Everyone needs to write this software when they interact with the chain. That's what we've observed, and that's true of all protocols, because nodes themselves are not built to be able to hold 21 terabytes in RAM, right? Maybe that's what you need when you need full history search. So it doesn't make sense to require that from the node. But at the same time, everyone needs reliable access to the chain. And those nodes are master to master replicated, and they're not always fully in sync at the microsecond level. So you need something to give you better guarantees. And that's what you end up writing as a user. That's what makes 90% of your code when you're interacting with the chain. But you don't want to do that. Yet everyone needs to do it. That's why I think it's very neat that the dFuse stacks brings that as a nice interface for everyone who wants to read data on the chain, on the different axes, right? And our goal is to bring all the different facets of blockchain data readily accessible, either indexed in specialized ways. We have token APIs so you can query, give me the tokens for that user, or NFTs we're going to roll out eventually. Provably fair. Maybe you'll need to like feed me in. What is that thing? Anyone has context there? No? Help me out, guys.
So just here's Dirk from Upland. You know, Alexander, really great tool. I mean, for us, you know, because since we are really, you know, ourselves game developer, we've been using dFuse for a while, saved us a lot of time, you know, development time.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for you guys. You guys been doing good. Great. So someone asked any of blockchains we're working with. Yes, so we announced Solana blockchain that we've partnered with. And this is another high throughput chain. So we're trying to figure out, you know, the chains that has good developer adoption and also that have like very unique properties and things that, you know, has a lot of data needs. Of course, you know, when you can do 60,000 transactions per second, then you want to have solid data pipelines to underpin that and search and all that. And then there's a bunch of other protocols we're looking. Some are closer to being rolled out. Yes, our goal, you know, is to blanket the blockchains with solid data systems so that we could eventually build some, you know, things listening on this chain, on that chain, and you're listening for settlement on that one until you send a feedback to the user. And all these things build up as to give something. You're going to talk to blockchains with all these APIs, but you can build higher order blockchain experiences without people knowing. But, you know, at every level, you get the greatest levels of guarantee and reliability. That's why we never want to compromise, right? With everything open source, does it affect your business model? You know, like that is not a big problem, I think. You know, there's a lot of great open source projects, namely Apache Spark, Elasticsearch, you can think of MongoDB, that build great sustainable businesses with an open source product, right? So they get distribution. There's a lot of edge integration. We're really interested in having people, you know, hook up this thing to, there are others, BI system or Kafka, and here and there, different pieces of their own infrastructure. And the whole stack there is very open to integration. It's all built in Go. It's all gRPC-based protobuf. So there's a lot of layers where people can build upon and increase the stack. Something also very well known in the blockchain space. A lot of blockchains are written in Go and use those same technologies. So, you know, we can see like people will want solid support for some of these aspects in certain critical situations. Will be there, of course, in that. It's going to be a good situation, right? It's a good situation. Thank you, Cryptoberto. Glad you're there.
Great. I think time's up. Thank you, Alexander.
Right. Oh, another question we can answer later on. I'm going to check that on Telegram. Thank you.
Yep, you can keep asking questions on the comments, and Alexander will stay and answer them. I'm going to move now to Dirk from Upland. Let's go, and let's put your slides. Okay.
All right. Can you hear me? Just make thumbs up. Just make sure everything's great. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Dirk from Upland. I don't know, cannot ask for a hand raise because I don't see that really. Who knows Upland, who has played it before? But basically, we are a property trading game at the same time. Let's see if it works here. We are way more than a property trading game, and I'll explain that in a second. When I run you through the slides here. So first of all, who are we? So we have 3 founders who are based in the Silicon Valley. And we have a team of a little bit more than 20 people across the world, notably in Ukraine, Israel, Germany. So we are widespread, like typical, distributed team. We actually came together, the 3 founders of us, in 2018. We had one of those fun game nights. We were playing Monopoly. And of course, we were big blockchain fans, and we decided, maybe we should do something, in that space also as well. We also watched at night. I don't know if one of you or some of you know the Netflix series Stranger Things, where there's a parallel world, and so actually we put 1 and 1 and 2 everything together, which made maybe 5 or something. And then we said, okay, you know what? Maybe we should start creating a new type of game, and that's actually based on blockchain technology. What you see on the right also is our little mascot, our hero. His name is Miles B. Chain. That's our llama, and you will see him throughout the presentation a couple more times. So what is our mission? So our mission is really, since you will see that we are based on the real world, we want to bring the real world and the virtual world somehow together, the digital world into one. And what's very important for us is that we want to allow a full market economy. And the way we are going to do this, I'm going to explain in a moment. So first of all, we want to build a blockchain like all of us, here in the blockchain space. We want to build a game which really suits a mass market audience, because otherwise we're not going to survive. We all know that we have to reach many, many people. And the idea of Upland is pretty simple. It's basically, when I mentioned that famous board game before, right? What you do is basically you buy, sell, and trade the virtual properties. But the main differentiator to this board game is we're based on real-world addresses on single properties. So we're not streets, we're single properties. What is very important when you want to go and want to reach a mass audience, you need to have simple onboarding. So no complicated wallet handling or private keys or so. That's why we have actually integrated the wallet directly into the app for ourselves. We have also one of the rare apps who are available across platforms. So we are available on the web. We are on iOS and Android store, and on the web you can actually use fiat and crypto to purchase our in-game cryptocurrency, which is called Apex. We accept in PayPal and as well as credit cards, and of course you can do in-app purchases in Android and Apple as well. But bottom line is we really want to hide all that complex stuff from blockchain. And the way we now build the game is really we're using existing game mechanics, and one is of course the one piece is the collecting piece. When we all know that when you're a big fan of soccer or football in Europe, right? You collect those images. That's one piece. Trading, I mean, you can now argue, is that really gaming or not? But somehow, of course, it's also a big point of, we use the NASDAQ here as an example. Is that really something what people do on is that gaming? Also, when you're on NASDAQ, or say, of course, kind of game that as well. It is, right? Then what we haven't built out yet is the whole idea that you can erect buildings, that you can develop your land. That's coming a little bit later. That's what's the building piece. And then last one is that we also allow competing, but at the same time of collaboration. I've prepared a short video. I hope that works now technically, which will run now. So, okay, I don't have the sound now, but what you see here is we have it based on real-world addresses, and you have different things you can do actually in the game. So, first of all, how can you get started playing? It's very simple. Like in this famous board game, you're going to buy just a property, and so once you purchase this, like what we promise is you get the true ownership. The next thing is that you have to maybe complete a collection. A collection is multiple properties with the same characteristics to boost your earnings. The next one is then you have to search maybe for treasure. So we have, here we have little events happening where you can actually go and find a treasure. Once you found a treasure, you can go and play what we call piñata. You have to tap very quickly your phone in order to extract a lot of Apex. And last but not least, you can cash out big time, how we call it. You earn Apex, because when you earn Apex when you do a treasure hunt, you earn Apex when you maybe flip a property, and you earn Apex just for the pure fact that you're holding a property as an income yield. All right. So just to repeat that, the way it works is very simple. So when you take your mobile phone, we all know how it works on Google Apps and so Google Maps. So you zoom in, you get a map application, you zoom into one property, and then you can actually go and buy that property, or maybe when you already bought one, you can sell it, or you can trade the property against another property. Then you do the collections, and those collections have different difficulty levels. Some of them very easy, of course, some of them very rare and very difficult to complete. And once you completed a collection, you actually start earning more Apex on your property. Because for the pure fact that you have a property, you already earn Apex, but when you complete the collection, you boost actually those earnings. And then we have lots of events happening in Upland. The last thing is where you have to compete with other players to find a treasure. Who finds it first, gets the prize. So for instance, we also have events. One event was around Easter, which was very successful. People were hunting all over the city of San Francisco, and I didn't mention that yet. Currently, we're live for the map of San Francisco, and people were hunting everywhere there, and then they could actually go and find the treasure, and then again have a piñata and collect some money. We're going to have more live events coming up. Just saying, 4th of May, we have, of course, we have Star Wars Appreciation Day. Our outlook is, when I said in the beginning, we want to be more than just a property trading game. The way we really think about it is that it should be a fully thriving market economy. And the idea is that people will be able to develop their land, and players become creators and entrepreneurs. And why we say entrepreneurs, myself, I'm an entrepreneur, is what I find really intriguing, especially in those hard times we are all going through these days. People are moving more digital. But what we want to allow and introduce is what we call business licenses. People will be able to run arcades. Of course, letting others people to play a nursery. You can maybe play some virtual plans. Some people might be even able to run banks, transportation, car dealerships, art galleries, big topic, of course, as well. So these are all great things, and we want to integrate real-world brands into it to make it real, touch really close to real life. So when we look at the components of our value proposition, so first of all, when you're in blockchain, of course everything in blockchain is always immutable. And as you know, we are working right now, as I mentioned, in San Francisco. When we give out a land, someone owns it. We cannot take it away from them because it's on the blockchain. It's true ownership. So we've developed, in order to actually onboard users to try out the game a little bit, right, is that we have a freemium approach where actually people get, in the beginning, they get a visa, and they have to check in every 7 days. If they don't do it, they lose the visa and they lose all their assets, in the sense of, we have to recycle them, right? But if they come in every week back, once a week, they keep their visa, they keep their assets, right? So that's how we build it. I mentioned that we don't have this private keys handling. Let's make it easy. We don't have any blockchain transactions fees. I haven't mentioned it. We are based on the EOS blockchain, which makes a lot of things for us very simple. We are using those credit card, PayPal, and crypto as money in on the web. In-app purchase payments, and then of course we going soon to announce next month actually that we will also allow Fiat out, which is very important. We've been working hard on that. Is that is fully compliant with the US regulations, which is very important, as you can tell, because if we don't do that, we could come into trouble. So this is very important. We're going to announce it actually next month. And last but not least, what makes us unique is really this cross-platform approach. What is our timeline? As you can see, we started out in late 2018. We launched our closed beta then last June. We introduced Marketplace. Everything was still closed. We introduced cross-platform, and we only went into open beta this year. And now in this quarter, as I said, we're gonna or maybe next quarter, we're going to launch Fiat out as the next city after San Francisco. New York City is going to go live, and people will be able to develop their properties and purchase the first business licenses. Going forward, and once we feel we are ready, we want to go and branch out to the mass market. We're currently still focused more on the kind of crypto community, but as I mentioned before, it is very, very important that we reach a mass market here. And that's the way, once we know we have enough features in the game, then we will really eventually branch out. And then, of course, we go also to other regions in the US. We haven't made a final decision on which city after New York will come. And what is also important then in 2021, we're going to go global. Maybe we go also global a little bit earlier. We don't know yet. What we want to do is that this becomes an open developer platform so other developers can build on top of it. And of course, we're going to introduce all this new fancy tech like augmented reality and what have you, virtual reality and so on. So I join you, to come on that journey with us together. And if you want to do this, you see a little, you see the barcode here as well as the link. That is actually the same website. When you sign up for that, you can actually get a double sign-up bonus. Because normally when you sign up with Upland, you get 3,000 UPEX. When you sign up through that link, you get actually 6,000 UPEX. All right. So that is my presentation, and I am open to questions. Okay, I'm just reading. I don't understand that many tokens to give to one the person who asked them. I don't understand the question. Do I get more questions or? Not getting any questions. So you can see in the video which we're showing right now, it's also all called new features which are coming up in our next release, which is called Martini in May.
All right. Let's see. There's one question for you. Is there a minimum hardware specification for playing Upland?
Stop sharing. Assume. Not getting any question. Oh, there's a minimum hardware specification for Upland playing games. No, there's not. Of course, when you have a very old computer, it doesn't work. But as mentioned, it works perfectly on browser and on all your phones. Of course, if it's really old hardware, there might be issues, but normally it works. Lanama's name is Miles B. Chain. You see that here? My little llama, I have that here. So that's his name, Miles B. Chain.
That's good.
How will UpSquares size play into the game now and the future? So UpSquares, so the way it actually works, just each properties comprises of multiple UpSquares because we divided the world into little squares. They're all 3 meters times 3 meters. So one property might have 200 UpSquares. And the larger the size of your property is, normally the more, for instance, UPEX you will be able to earn on it. But also it also will relate to what you can be able to build on top of it. The size will actually be important going forward. Okay, what's the differentiation between us and Sandbox and I didn't read all the others. Yeah. So basically, I mean, of course, first of all, there's the different technology platforms we're working on. But in terms of from user perspective, I think we are the only ones who are really based on the real world. We're using real world addresses. That's, I think, one of the main differentiators. And of course, within the gameplay, you have differentiators as well.
Right. Last question for you.
Are there any plans to possibly create personal buildings or other objects outside of Upland and utilize the properties or object in Upland as NFTs? Very good question from Chonya, and we're actually thinking very actively on that. So we want to be part of the ecosystem, right? And we have to, there's a couple of technical challenges we have to solve, but I would love to bring other assets into our game from other games as well, and vice versa. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dirk.
Thanks, Dirk.
If anyone has any more question, you can keep asking them in the comments, and he'll keep answering you. So now we have Michael from Horizon Blockchain Games. They are going to tell us about their amazing game.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Thanks, guys. Can you see the screen?
Yep. It's a nice one.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks. So yeah, I'm Michael. I'm here from Horizon Blockchain Games, and we're an infrastructure company that's pioneering this new dimension of gaming. And the new dimension is really where physical and digital worlds come together to power a future of gaming that's more real than ever before. And as most people in this group know, like, it all starts with the digital item that make up our digital worlds. And video game assets are the original digital asset. And we see all of this spending behavior, but unfortunately, people are spending money on items that they don't own. So like many of you, we asked what happens when we create open and standardized protocols for virtual items, a common format for representing these digital goods so that they all share the same digital DNA. And what we see are new player incentives and new monetization possibilities. Players can now own their items, they can trade these on open markets, they can co-create with other players and developers, and we enable this opportunity for play to earn, where players can play totally free-to-play games and earn items that actually become their property. And so, today's blockchains provide the low-level protocols for distributed commerce, and they create the possibility for these new and open virtual items and economies. But in order to create and achieve this vision for the new dimension of gaming, we have a lot to design for. And so some of our design goals, it's obviously being built on decentralized public infrastructure, non-custodial ownership, making it easy to use for gamers and developers, ensuring it's secure and scalable, standardized and interoperable, and that there's market liquidity, and of course, being legally compliant. So at Horizon, we've built Arcadium, and it's a platform for powering open virtual worlds and blockchain games. So you can think of it as a comprehensive open source stack for ownable and tradable virtual items, reliable, fast, cheap, non-custodial, and friendly infrastructure for Web3. And at Horizon, we've created Arcadium through the development of our flagship game, Skyweaver, which I'll talk about and demonstrate for you a little bit later. But just included in the Arcadium platform, so we have a smart contract standard library for the minting, transfer, and exchange of virtual items using the ERC 1155 multi-token standard, which we co-authored actually alongside the Sandbox and Sebastian's team and Engine. And so we have Arcadium transaction APIs simplifying the transaction process across the Ethereum network. Meta transactions so that gamers don't require ETH or any cryptocurrency in order to play games or pay for items in this ecosystem. We also created the Nifty Swap decentralized exchange protocol so that players can easily buy, trade, and sell with one another. We have a wallet tailor-made for gamers, so making it super user-friendly. And then, of course, the developer library, CLI, our Arcadium state APIs, and for the future, enhancing scalability. And here's just a look at the evolution of Ethereum smart contracts. So, most people here are probably familiar with their origins, but now we're specializing all of these things for video games. And here's just a visual representation of how the Arcadium platform works in cohesion. So you have that stable gamer coin so that players can transact across the network, and they can house this currency in their wallet where they can also house their game items. And then they securely store them there, and then you can go ahead and sell them or buy other items on the virtual exchange. And of course, this platform connects to any video game. And in our case, it starts with Skyweaver. And so Skyweaver is really, we're creating it for a number of reasons, but primarily to have this breakthrough piece of content that makes it to the mainstream. And it's a digital trading card game that we believe will actually compete in the card game genre as a whole, not just the blockchain genre. And at the same time, it showcases the Arcadium platform while being easy and fun for any gamer to use. So Skyweaver is totally free to play, and it's a worldwide competitive trading card game. It's web-based, so it's playable on any computer, mobile, tablet, and it's available right now on all of these platforms. And so it's a strategy turn-based card game, similar to Hearthstone for those that are familiar, or like an online version of Pokemon or Magic the Gathering. You can build decks based on your strategy. You can play the game with a random deck as well in what we call discovery mode, making it easier for newcomers. And by winning battles and leveling up and ascending the ranks, players will actually win a crypto token called Weave. And they can use Weave to then mint rare gold cards. And of course, these gold cards then become player property. So players actually own them. They can play games with them. They can build decks with these gold cards, or they can trade them to a friend or sell them and post them on the open market. And as mentioned, the Arcadium wallet is built right into Skyweaver, just making it super user-friendly so that all of the players' assets are right there for them. And using the wallet, you could go ahead and make a transaction and send it directly to a friend. Or as mentioned, you could post it on the open market. And right here is a screenshot of our Skyweaver market built on the Nifty Swap decentralized exchange protocol. It has automatic market making. And the reason we really want the Skyweaver market to be easy for anyone to use, to have a shopping experience as easy as Amazon, so that no one even knows they're interacting with a blockchain. They're just having this enjoyable, intuitive experience that happens to have all of these economic and technological benefits. Here's a look at actually if you go to the market, you can search by decks. So I mentioned earlier that you can build a strategic deck in Skyweaver. And here you can sort through the top performing decks. And with the click of a button, you can buy every card in that deck or all of the ones that you don't already own. And here are just a few screenshots of how the order flow looks and how you can customize and adjust numbers. Just like a very simple payment process, just like any Web2 application, really. And as I mentioned, the Arcadium coin. So this is a stable coin currently built on DAI. So a USD pegged stable currency so that gamers aren't subject to the volatility of something like Ether. And they can transact across the entire Arcadium network and the entire Aetherium network. So in Skyweaver, players can buy Arcadium coin with credit or debit card. And of course, they could liquidate this later for Fiat on a third-party exchange if they wanted to. Here's just a quick look at the different places you can play it. Really this play anywhere, anytime philosophy. And yeah, that's how Skyweaver works in a nutshell. And it's really important for us, a few people touched on this, that the game appeals to the mainstream audience. And none of the economic or technological benefits matter unless the game's amazingly fun. Because unless people enjoy it and they really want to come back to it, then there won't be a market. There won't be people trading cards and exchanging them. So that's why Jonathan Laux on our team, he's been with us since the beginning, and he's our lead gameplay designer. And he actually used to work at Wizards of the Coast on Magic the Gathering. And he also worked on Legends of Runeterra, which is the new card game from Riot. And yeah, so if anyone wants to play, you can go to skyweaver.net. We've been in a private beta since June of 2019, iterating and shipping and improving the game every single week. And you can, and we're slated for open beta this summer, or in a few months. And here's just a shot of there are many amazing people on our team putting this together, and it's really an honor to be part of this group. So I can quickly demo the game for you guys if you'd like.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ed. Sorry, say that again?
You have early access codes, man. That'd be exciting. I want to punch it in right now.
Yeah. I'll send you one after the call, okay? So I mentioned the market. I'll just show you how the market works in action. So if you look at the DEX, for example, and I'm having a little slow loading speed because I'm streaming, but here, let's say I see this Axel deck and I really like it. There are a lock on the cards that I don't own, like this Earthspike, I don't own it, but I do own Gift of Aya. So I can just click buy and then confirm. And you'll see all of the cards that I don't own are now available for me to purchase. I can just click confirm buy. And we're on the Rinkeby test network right now. So after I click confirm, within about 15 seconds, you'll see that in my card library, I have that new deck. So there it is, Axel. And I'll show you guys the gameplay because that might be most interesting for a lot of people. I mentioned discovery mode. So this is where you can play with randomized decks. And I'll do that. I'm just going to play a training match for now. But yeah, here you can see you can select like different heroes. And these are based on different prisms. For anyone familiar with Magic, it's kind of like the different colors, but essentially different strategies. I'm going to choose Mira, the Intellect and Strength prism, and then just start. And so, yeah, I'll show you guys what the game looks like. So at the beginning, there's this Mulligan Phase, so you can choose 4 different cards that you start with in your hand. And yeah, the goal is to defeat your opponent's health. So to bring this character down to 0, and you can cast different cards onto the field. You can see I hover over, you can see all the different mechanics of each of these cards. So yeah, I'll come back over to the stream just to see if there are any questions. And yeah, if anyone wants to ping me, you can, I can give you early access code.
Great. Thank you, Michael. That was a great demo. Again, if anyone has any question for Michael, ping him in the comments and you will get an access code. So you'll be able to play this game among the first. Looks really exciting. I want to play it already.
Awesome. Thanks, Sebastian.
All right. So we are going to have Archer from Somnium Space next.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Sebastian. You hear me well?
Yep.
All right, let me try and share the screen. You tell me if you can't see me?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm eager to start.
Like that.
Hello. All right, I'm sharing the screen now, so you should start seeing the presentation in the full screen. Let me know if you do.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Yeah, there we go.
Here we go.
All right.
All right, the stage is yours.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Great presentations, guys. Amazing stuff. So yeah, I'm a founder and CEO of Somnium Space, and we are a virtual reality platform built on right now Ethereum blockchain. What does it mean? You know, what is virtual reality platform, and why do we do this? We believe that the future of human communication and economical, relationships would be done mainly in VR, because the world is getting global, and there are many ways how you can actually enhance your experience even above the real life experiences in VR. You can do so many things which you cannot do in real life, and you can do it faster and in much more beautiful environments, of course. So we kind of, I've been a player of virtual worlds since 1999. I've started with Ultima Online. I've played Second Life a lot and all kind of RPGs you can imagine. So when I actually tried an early version of consumer VR in 2016, I immediately kind of was amazed. I mean, I remember the days until now very vividly, and I just said to myself, okay, that's exactly what I was dreaming about all the time, to be on the other side of the monitor, to actually be inside the world I'm the part of, and be inside the world I've built. So that's what led to Somnium Space, and that's where we are building. If you ever have watched or read Snow Crash Ready Player One, so that is exactly what we are actually building in Somnium Space. So how does it work? People buy parts of the world, and they can build anything they want, and they directly within seconds can dive into VR. Do you see the video which I'm playing right now?
Yeah, I do. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, cool. Right. So you can build stuff on your land parcel inside Somnium World, and you can directly upload it to the main world, and everybody will see it. It's all persistent, meaning that we don't divide players into small sub-rooms and sub-servers. So it's not like you're having 30 people in one room and then we do a mirror and then you cannot communicate between each other. Everyone are in the same room all the time, all together, or not a room, in the same world, and they see creations of everyone else in real time. So it can happen. It happens every day where you can just climb the highest mountain, which is like 5 kilometers away, stand on that mountain and see in real time how hundreds of people running around and in their villas or in discos or crypto art galleries. They're doing it in real time, and you can just go there and or wave at them, and they'll see you. And it's in full VR, of course, spatial audio, and all that kind of stuff. It's happening in real time. So that is the vision we have built, and it's live already, and people are building stuff there. But why do we do it, and what is the holistic approach we're taking for Somnium? So it's kind of set from several important parts. We believe that it's needed for virtual reality platform, and then in the future for the whole metaverse, because we believe in Somnium that metaverse is not one company. It's not Somnium Space only. It's a combination of companies. It's a combination of Sandbox and VR Chat and Somnium Space and Outspace, and all those companies are working together, giving a seamless experience to its users, whether you want to hop into Somnium Space and then go somewhere else, but I'll touch upon that later. So we are, of course, based in blockchain because we know that if we want to build a viable economy, which is decentralized and also which is giving players an ability to really own their assets, which they create and they upload, it has to be on the blockchain, and economy has to run in a decentralized way so that people have full control over their assets and they can trade those assets anytime they want. Now, of course, our software is working on Ethereum blockchain, is reading from the Ethereum blockchain. We have a desktop builder, which is an important part, an integral part, I would say, also from the experience, because if you want to have fun in the world, you kind of have to be able to create something to contribute to that world, because we always say Somnium Space is the universe and shaped by players, and that's true. Every day you go inside the VR world, you take the VR headset, you take it on your head, you are immersed in the new world where people build and upload stuff every day, and you can explore. We actually have Meetup every day inside VR, and we go and explore new builds which are created by our community. And that builder has to be very easy to use. So we, of course, support more complex tools like Unity SDK. We do have that. But if if you just want to buy your property and build a cool villa or a house, you can do that within half an hour, and then by press of a button, within 2 minutes, it will be in the main world, and everybody can see it, and you can hang out in VR with them together. So inside your creation. We support all PC-based VR. We're natively VR world first. We do support non-VR mode as well. So if you don't have a VR headset, you can come in a 2D mode. But of course, we always encourage, and we will always do encourage people to come in VR, because that's where the real magic starts. You are actually inside your creation. It's kind of a very magical moment where you build a villa, and it's in your monitor. It's pretty cool, but when you press the button, you take the headset, and you're standing in front of that 50-meter giant villa. Every time I see that, I say, "Wow, okay, that's a nice feeling. It's a nice moment actually to realize." We want to support all the devices and be supported across all devices. We're working on standalone Quest version, which should come very soon. We're also working on the mobile version where you can see, on the Galaxy Note 8, I think we've tested that the whole builder with all the functionality can run on the mobile phone, and you can actually create on your land parcel and push it live from the mobile phone. It will be as if you would do it on PC. So that's very important, a very cool feature. It's a lot of fun to build. And of course, all those steps which are described on this slide are actually making it in a way that people can easily access this universe in VR or from other devices anytime they want. Now, there are several parts which are important and which we think are
Mila Jan?
Hello?
Hi, I can hear you.
Did we lose Arthur?
Oh,
He's
at the 1 hour mark. Is it something special there?
Looks like it.
yeah. His picture froze.
Maybe it's an internet issue.
Yeah,
Let's.
whatever.
All right. So we have a little network connectivity issue. It looks like we've just lost Archer in the metaverse. He's been transporting himself directly into Somnium Space in VR and he's gone. Let's see if he's reconnecting soon. Yeah, we lost the presenter. That's the metaverse. One word to another.
This looks interesting.
Yes.
Imagine all these things.
Yeah.
Well, let's give him 1 or 2 minutes. If not, we'll move to the next speaker and we'll give him some time after. Because Immortal Games is next.
It's also not in the private chat, so I suppose we lost him internet-wise.
Yep, I think so as well.
Maybe we can go inside the Somnium map and discover that.
Yes, let's go there and continue the meetup in Somnium Space. We have to do that next time.
He's in there somewhere.
Okay.
Loading everything. About that here.
So,
You want to see the map?
which nice map.
This is the Somnium Space map. Maybe he'd be better to show you the interesting bits, but that's cool. Someone bought the land there.
He's back.
Oh, so let's.
the internet beast.
We thought you teleported in the metaverse, and
Exactly. I'm already out. I'm already there. So where did you lose me? Which moment of time did you lose me? So that I know where to start over.
Can you share your slide again?
Yeah, just a second. 1 second. Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
So here. Do you see my slides?
Slide further. Just let me.
No. This where I didn't switch from this slide yet.
Yep. Okay. All right. Can you make it a bit faster then?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was talking about total immersion, about the 360 spatial audio, where actually, yesterday when we were hanging out in the disco club in VR in Somnium, I kind of saw 2 people dancing, and then one wanted to say something to one of our users, and he kind of leaned to another person because he wanted to stay closer to the person and actually hear him better, like you would do in real life. So that's what we call total immersion. That's exactly what we're building here, and that's exactly what is happening inside the world. Of course, NFT use cases. You can import NFTs from, whatever your crypto art. You import that crypto art, you put it in your house. Someone in VR comes in, clicks on the crypto art, looks at the, who owns it, what's the price, where did you buy it, and things like that. And of course, you can sit in your NFT kayak and then just pedal in the lake in VR and come to your neighbor, wave at the neighbor in real time. That's exactly what we are calling total immersion, and that's exactly what VR brings. And we believe that's the future of actually human communication. And of course, the beginning of true metaverse, we're in Blockchain Gaming Alliance. We were the first company to showcase the true teleportation between two different VR worlds, two different companies. So we did a showcase with High Fidelity where we teleported, we went into the VR, into Somnium Space, we went to the teleportation booth, we clicked the button to High Fidelity. Within 10 seconds, it took us to a completely different application, which has nothing to do with Somnium Space. And that's the belief we have. We want to have an open metaverse where people can hop off the Somnium and go to other worlds, and then come back to their house in Somnium and do different stuff. And of course, the future of that is you bring with you your identity, your money, your items, and your avatar. So that's the future we're working towards too. Yeah, of course, a lot of use cases in terms of what is happening. We have very much like to party, real-time audio, video, everything is working inside Somnium. You can stream audio directly on your parcel, different audio sources in the same parcel, for example. All the lighting and everything, communication is happening in real time. And a lot of crypto art galleries are happening right now. On the left side, you can see our map, which is a pretty cool way out to look at Somnium market and see where are the prices, which neighborhoods are more expensive, less expensive, and it's kind of all based on location and neighborhoods, let's say. We have visual scripting, which is a tool which, without knowing anything how to code, you can actually build interactive experiences inside a builder on your land parcel, and then of course monetize them if you want, or just make it for fun. Yeah, it's been, last 5 weeks were amazing. We are constantly a top 1 project on the on OpenSea. There's a lot of trading happening between the people. On the right side, you see a heat map where people are walking and in different locations on the map, like what hotspots are the most cool ones on the map. And yeah, if you want to meet us in VR or in 2D, every day we have our meetup inside VR, inside Somnium. And if you have more questions, you can, of course, join our Discord or follow us on Twitter. We'll be happy to answer any questions. So on that respect, I'd go for questions. So are there any questions?
I'm going to put some question on screen. Let's see if we have any question from the audience.
So someone says we need more US representation. Is there a plan to transfer NFTs like collectible arts, cars from another games into Somnium? Yes, indeed. We actually did a collaboration with Crypto Motors where they created special VR editions of their car, and we will allow it very soon to be actually driving in VR that car inside Somnium Space, and that car is an NFT. So using those 3D models, actually using your real NFTs, like CryptoKitty, for example, was on my video there. You can actually, we're working with an open source AI to actually take the CryptoKitty image, which you own, and drag it into the Somnium Space, and our system will make it a 3D model so that you can actually pet your CryptoKitty. It's a real CryptoKitty there. So you can do a lot of things because it's in VR and because it's in total immersion. So we have, in terms of daily active users, this is we have like in hundreds. Monthly, we have more than 1,000 active users happening there. We have more than 500 creators who are actually creating and building on their land parcels, and that number constantly grows. So every day you come in, there's a new amazing build out there, which can you can explore in VR and see what is built there. NFT ticketing experience within Somnium, that's a great question. We actually had already few instances recently where a disco club, which you saw the video in the beginning, actually the DJ played a live session, 2 hours. We danced there like never before, and he actually sold tickets to that club for $1,000 worth of Ethereum, or cubes, actually, Somnium cubes. So that is a business model. There is another crypto museum of crypto art in Somnium. They also sold lifetime tickets, I think worth $1,500. So the business like this is happening, and will just be more and more because the ability to monetize is already there. Yeah, so someone says hopefully the land will be cheaper. That's a decentralized market. We don't dictate the prices. People are actually choosing what they want to pay. So it's all based on the use case and stuff.
We'll go with the last question and move to Ole.
Is there any connection other than blockchain and ownership of assets? I mean, we take it, as we said, we are VR native and we are a blockchain native platform. So we take blockchain as an opportunity not only to have and give people an ability to really truly own their items, but it's also a good security measure for us, because we directly give you permissions and we directly give you access to your land by reading directly from the blockchain. So it cannot happen, for example, that someone hacks our servers and just takes all the land to himself or whatever, because anytime you try to build something, we do a cross check whether you own the token or you don't own the token. And of course, based on that, you are allowed to use stuff. And, there are many things coming up like avatars, cars, kayaks, tickets, and much more, which people will be able to exchange within the world seamlessly.
Amazing. Thank you, Arthur, for this presentation. Very exciting about Somnium Space and building the metaverse.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks a lot for the invitation.
All right. So without further ado, we are going to move to Ole from Immortal Games. And let me put your presentation on screen. Yes, here you go. The stage is yours, Ole.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, my name is Oleg. I'm CEO and co-founder at Immortal Games. And we are developing a game called Dark Country. So it is an American Gothic card game where assets are owned by users with a mix of city building and MMO strategy genre. And we are approaching to alpha version, like private alpha version, coming in several weeks. We are working on this project from about last November. And it's built with Unity and a blockchain X backbone. So we're gonna release it first as a desktop version, but it's already been prepared to be on mobile as well. And end of June, we wanted to release a beta version. So think of us as a mix of like Elder Scrolls Legends and Hostile Castle, and inspired by the Hunt setting. So first of all, users will be able to play like regular and normal TCG genre, which will be like starting game. But as they progress, they would be able to update, upgrade the city and unlock different possibilities. So such as like creating new cards or advanced cards or joining clans. And we will have an open world where you will be able to basically to join alliances and work in a team. So we will basically discover new gameplay mechanics. So as I said, we are working in several like target user bases, and we are like right now we are covering blockchain users, but of course, as most of projects here, we are working towards to cover mainstream like gamers audience, like wider audience. And beside of TCG market with TCG users, we also focus on like casual and mid-core players. Our core loop is like all about building a deck, choosing a card when you play versus opponent, and also like develop your base, as I said, as well as unlock map pieces and like play versus AI or human. But on the meta level, you also have to think like about choosing the right strategy as a defense or attack, especially when you are on multiplayer field. So you can create different decks for different strategies. So it will be playing like on automatic level. And also what we bring also with the power of blockchain and NFTs, our cards and assets will gain a memory. So we'll get some certain events or items saved into basically cards and NFTs, and they will bring more value. So imagine like a card that was used by someone like that won a championship. We are in like gaming market, which is traditional card collectible and trading card games, and also we see we are like mix of this digital assets market, and also as a part of what we want to do is we will allow users to create a custom content in our game, which would be like custom look and feel, and also like skins, and also get a share of this, and also like custom campaigns. So yeah, we are running pre-sale right now, and we plan like ongoing sales of packs of items, as well as like what we plan to earn is premium subscription and the fees from co-creation, basically from user-generated content, which will also be possible through DAO and smart contracts. We came from software development, and I was doing it for more than 10 years in software agency, which I sold, and we've been doing games there as well. But about 2 years ago, we created a Daplica, which were consulting different companies with blockchain, mostly on EOS dApps. But we started helping a prospectors game, which was like #1 on real user base with 3K DAU last year, where we cut a lot of help, and they cut a lot of bots. So basically 3K was real users. And my co-founder also came from IT background and with a lot of experience with cryptography, AI, and on the stuff, and working on big companies, like giant companies on the space of software development. And also we have like guys from our core team helping us on game design and on marketing stuff, which were also actively involved in prospectors, and we bring this a lot of success in that. And yeah, and we have a team of like Unity developer, website developer, and front and back end, and a team of artists coming with what we are doing. So what we are trying to build, and what we built is that we already have like a way to play without blockchain account. So that's what we want to prepare and bring it to like regular gamers. And also we are multi-chain already. So we have our main contract on Wax blockchain, but also we support EOS and Ethereum right now. And we support several NFT standards, so you can migrate across different chains. Basically, we support now Simple Assets and ERC-71, and we are like on Simple Market and also on OpenSea. So that's what we try to cover, bigger audience, because we understand what is blockchain user, what is blockchain gamer due to our past experience. And we already have like this experience managing like 5K more audience, helping on prospectors project. And right now we have over 300 active users on our audiences. Most of them were buying items, and also we encourage a lot with our referral program. So users can come and refer a player and receive like lifetime commission from what they buy. We've been doing some interesting stuff and was covered in some of crypto press. One of things we did like a month ago was first and massive NFT drop, which we did through Wax blockchain. We dropped over 60,000 NFTs through all of the accounts. So people eventually found these items, started to trade on a simple market, which created like around 100K a market, basically from zero. Here's our video. I would like to show just recent promotional video. Sorry. I cannot click sound. Second.
All right. So
yeah, sorry.
We're maybe one last question, and then we might be out of time. So we'll be moving to the next speaker, but you can continue the conversation in the comments. Do you see the question, Ole? They are pop at the bottom, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you like to answer this one?
Yeah, so yeah, some of cards won't be tradable, yeah, if that was the question. Yeah, some of cards will be available, especially through tournaments. So you'll be able to get like mythical cards, which are we don't sell anymore. We plan to do a pre-sale till the end of this year. It basically started December last year. We raised up to this time about 20K on a pre-sale. Yeah.
All right, amazing. So let's continue the conversation in the comments. I'm going to move to the next speaker, which is Johnny Zera from Status. I can see him here. Hi, Johnny. Welcome. We don't hear you yet. Hello.
All right. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep. We can hear you fine. And here are your slides. Putting them on screen. The stage is yours, Johnny.
Great. Thanks. So my name is Johnny. I work with the Status team, and I'm presenting here with Corey, our security lead. And so before I get into exactly what Status is, I just want to give a bit of background as to what we've done and kind of an ecosystem that we're building. But essentially, we're building secure communication tools for human rights. And so Status was founded in 2017 by Jared Hope and Carl Bennetts. And the idea was to combine a messenger, a crypto wallet, and a Web3 browser all into one seamless integrated experience. We had our beta release in June of 2018, and we've finally moved into production, so V1 of February this year. So it's been really exciting. But the mission of Status has always been much bigger than just communication tools. We want to build these tools and ecosystems for self-sovereignty, for individual autonomy, and ultimately human rights. So a very values-driven organization. And with that, we've architected, basically, we've created this network of various projects. So at the product level, we build Status, which is our messenger, wallet, and web browser. We work on a key card, which is like a credit card like cold storage. Teller Network, which is a community deployed on-ramp, off-ramp of fiat and crypto. We've got dApps, which is our token curated dApp marketplace. That's really interesting for dApp developers to submit their work, gaming apps, marketplaces, exchanges, you name it, to be usable within Status. And Assemble, which is like our version of a decentralized Kickstarter, if you will. And that's our move to essentially a DAO. We also work on developer tools. So Embark is the decentralized framework, Subspace, which is the React library. And at the infrastructure level, we work on F2 client, which is Nimbus. So the whole goal there is to bring Ethereum to resource restricted devices. So, mobile phones and, other embedded devices. VAC, which is a private peer-to-peer messaging research division. So these guys are working on secure communication in a distributed manner, libp2p, and then also we're a community and open source organization. So everyone's invited to get involved how they wish. Here you can just see a visual.
Ask you one. Sorry to interrupt. Can you move to full screen? I think we don't really see so well your slides.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Click present. That should work. That will be much better. Thank you.
Sorry, thought I was.
No problem.
Here's a visualization of everything in the network, so you can get a sense. Quick overview. So we once again, we're a very values-driven organization, and we've defined this set of principles which impacts how we architect the products and tools we build, how we coordinate, and all of these essentially manifest themselves in our tools, in our products. And one of the key principles here is privacy. So everything we do is to protect and preserve user privacy. Security as well. That's what we're building these tools for. There is a token, SNT, which is the Status Network token, and that's used to incentivize participation in the network, and it also powers various features within our product. So node incentivization, encouraging people to run in nodes. We have a sticker market, which is available in Status, and that stickers cost anywhere from 10 to 20 SNT. It depends on the user. ENS registration, once again, the community deployed Teller Network, dApp curation. So this is really interesting. dApp developers can submit their dApp to the marketplace and stake SNT. And there's a bonded curve, so there's a bit of gamification to it where the more you stake, the higher you will rank. However, the easier it is or cheaper it is for the community to then download you. Also, so SNT is used for governance of our network and also spam prevention mechanisms in our app, such as Tribute to Talk. But today I want to focus mostly on Status, the product. So it's, once again, it's a decentralized messenger, crypto wallet, and Web3 browser, focused on privacy and security. We're always researching new protocols, new methods of building these tools out. So Corey, I don't know if, Corey, are you on the line? So this is just a bit of a look at our stack. I'll explain if he's not available, but Status React, which is essentially like our front end, if you will. It handles a lot of the front end logic, the UI code, screens, chats, how things interact with each other. And then Status Go, which is, I guess you can look at it as like the back end. We use Go Ethereum, and that's a lot of the blockchain logic, transactions, and interactions with the VM. But once again, we've built this integrated experience with the messenger, the wallet, and the browser all seamlessly combined into one. So the wallet integrates with the messenger, as well as the browser, and the messenger with the browser as well. And I'll go into detail there now. I guess first, before we start, once again, preserving privacy, it's an anonymous platform, or pseudo-anonymous platform rather. So when you create an account, we'll never ask you for your phone number, your email. Basically, when you create an account, you'll get this three-word pseudonymous name, and then keys are managed and stored locally on your phone always. So the private messenger, it leverages a peer-to-peer protocol called Waku. We were using Whisper, which was the messaging layer to the Ethereum stack around 2017. We ran into scalability issues with that, specifically around bandwidth usage on mobile phones. So our VAC research team they built a fork of Whisper, which is the off-chain P2P protocol. So your messages are never on-chain. It's just like a layer that sits above the blockchain. It's based on topic interest, and we use rate limiting just to decrease bandwidth usage and make it more scalable for mobile phones. It's always end-to-end. All of your messages are end-to-end encrypted by default, and we leverage perfect forward secrecy and the double ratchet algorithm designed by the Signal team. So we've got private chats, just like you would in any other messenger. Private group chats, those are coming soon. Sorry, there's a typo here. Private group chats are coming soon. And then we have various public channels, which are just basically like public channels like you'd see in Telegram, and they're just like an agnostic form of information. There's no censorship. Once again, we're using these distributed tools so they can't be censored. And then what's really cool is we enable global payments. So integrated with the wallet, you can send your friends or your family ETH or DAI or NFTs or whatever you have it. Almost like a decentralized Ethereum version of Venmo. The crypto wallet, it's integrated with the browser and the messenger, so it's non-custodial, ERC20 and ERC721 compatible. There's custom token support, so if you want to add tokens of your own, you can add those to your wallet. As mentioned before, it's integrated with the messenger and browser in various ways, which I'll go into. And then security is the primary feature here. We don't use third-party services for private or public key management. So your keys are your own. And we've implemented various design implementations, such as a signing phrase, which is an anti-phishing mechanism just to protect you from any outside attack vectors. And then finally, we've got multi-account in the wallet. And this is cool because it decouples your chat in your wallet, your chat key and your messenger. So you can use one wallet to message your friends and interact with your friends, and then a completely separate account with various games that you're interacting within the app. So you can buy credits or NFTs in the dApp store, and that will be one wallet, and then a completely separate wallet for sending your friends or family money. And then, of course, there's the dApp browser. And this is just a gateway. It provides access to the various ecosystem of dApps, from games, marketplaces, exchanges, you name it. We've implemented the latest EIPs and security standards, and then dApps, which I'll go into more on the next slide. It's our token curated dApp store. And once again, as mentioned before, it implements a bonded curve, so anyone can submit their dApp, a game, an exchange once again, and then you'll just have some SNT. You can in the submission form you submit, and the more SNT that you stake, the higher you're ranked. So you'll get more eyes on your application. But once again, the cheaper it is for the community to downvote you. So this is our way of preventing like the pay to play, which is common in most centralized app stores. So here, yeah, anyone can go submit. It's dap.ps. You can check it out. It's available within Status and then also on desktop. And then we've also built like a dApp integration center, if you will, in our docs at Developer Tools. So that should kind of coach people through submitting their dApp, how to rank, how to stake, how the bonded curve works, and should answer any questions that you have. And once again, the bonded curve helps promote quality dApps and quality content. Because once again, we want the best games and the best applications to be at the top. We want to avoid that pay-to-play system, which is so common in centralized systems today. And yeah, if anyone needs support or help, you can contact me or at Jonathan at Status or in our support channel in Status, and we can help people get set up there. Yeah, that's it, and I can take questions.
Thank you, Johnny. Is there any question for you from the audience? Yeah, here's one.
Malicious dApps. We haven't run into that yet. So right now we do have a bit of a curation process. The whole plan is to decentralize that entirely. However, we are reviewing the dApps that are submitted. So we haven't run into that issue yet, no. Is there a blockchain gaming API being used? Not that I'm aware of. We try and avoid any APIs or third-party code in our application right now, just because they present security risks. But yeah, and we're not using one. Yes. So for payment, is it encrypted? So all of your messages in private channels are end-to-end encrypted by default. Once again, because it is on the blockchain, the transaction is going to be public on the blockchain, but your messages themselves, those will be encrypted. And that goes for private chats, public, private group chats, and then it's just slightly different for public channels because they're public. Yeah, and as Corey's mentioned, he's on the line as well. We are looking for ways to increase transaction privacy. So various zero knowledge proofs and different ways to, basically educate the user as to what information they're giving up. But that is an active area of research for us. How many dApps are live? The last I checked, there was like 50, I believe, in the dApp store. And once again, anyone can add, and our team's there to help support.
All right. I think we're going to wrap up. One last question, and then I'll be calling the next speaker. No more question? Okay. Thank you, Johnny. It's been really interesting. Amazing stack here you're developing between the private chat, the dApp store, and the other solution. If there's more question, you're happy to continue the conversation in the comments. And now I'll be calling to the stage Evan from Wax. Woohoo!
Hey. So yeah, just before I jump into things here, I'll try to get my screen sharing figured out. But yeah, Seb, this is awesome, man. This is such a cool meetup format. Just to get all these people in one room, you would never get that in a local place. So coronavirus aside, I'm a huge proponent of this. I think you should keep doing this. And on another side note, this is a small world. Just on this call, I've actually worked with Michael right in the early days of Horizon Blockchain Games with Skyweaver. Oleg I work with all the time, dFuse on a nearly daily basis. So yeah, and met with you luckily in San Francisco. So yeah, man, small world, and it's insane how much progress has been made.
Yes.
All right. Enough of that.
All right. Whenever you're ready for your screen share, I can put it on.
All right, tell me when you can see.
Yep, I can see it. And here you go. So the stage is yours. Go, Evan.
Yeah, so Wax, the blockchain for mainstream video gaming and entertainment. Realize that is a completely nebulous term and kind of marketing speak, but I think, one of the keys to our project is that we're taking a novel approach to this. I think, getting to mainstream gaming is not something that's going to happen inside a closed box. It's certainly not going to happen from a project, kind of forcing their beliefs of the world onto, the rest of the ecosystem. I think, with Wax, we're taking a ton of experience in item trading. The whole core team has been very involved in gaming for decades. And we're taking a much more collaborative approach. That means working with, current IP holders, real AAA name brand companies, working in the legal frame, working with legal frameworks and working with, not just the blockchain layer of this, but everything else that needs to happen in order to get a mainstream, IP game on there. And that's not to say we're not into indie devs. We're all for it. But even there, there's tons of stuff that needs to be done and figured out. And so that's what I mean when I say the blockchain for mainstream gaming. So what is Wax? So this is kind of funny. I really do get this question way too much. So I'm going to clarify this. We are our own entirely owned chain. We do leverage EOSIO technology, but fundamentally we are our own DPoS chain. Got our own block producers and guilds. Oleg Dapica is actually one of them. We've got an excellent group there. And Wax, where it differentiates itself from other chains, is we offer a full suite of development tools, blockchain-based tools, but now we're even stepping into this kind of business layer as well, where we're constructing legal frameworks and NFT standards and different APIs that really kind of center around this concept of improving IP licensing as it pertains to blockchain. Many of the owners and operators of popular games, they have incredibly valuable IP, and the idea of taking that IP and putting it on Ethereum, for instance, and having no recourse for that item in terms of any sort of revenue generation after that initial sale is off-putting to some. So we're working on ways of doing, residual rev share for periods of time, while still maintaining a decentralization and true ownership of that asset. But I think it makes it a lot more palatable, these solutions, to the general gaming community. Now, from the developer suite side of the house, we've built out a very, very robust developer portal. You guys can check that out at developer.wax.io. We've got all sorts of different plugins, tools, code samples, really, really simple stuff. And even we highlight our partners and how to use them, like dFuse has a section on there, and how you can leverage their technology to, work better with Wax. So that's kind of what Wax is. And I guess the mission of Wax is really to bring, blockchain gaming and all of the pros of it to the world. And I think we're taking an approach that's not just digital items, but even physical items, and working with this kind of combination of both. So I think that's a bit unique as well. And hopefully we can get to kind of all of this stuff in the next 8 or so minutes. This is a question we get a lot. Tons of blockchains out there. Why build on Wax? I'm going to show you here in a second. I think we've got the easiest onboarding and best wallet experience in the game right now. That is step number one. Onboarding is the biggest single issue in blockchain. And if we want to get outside of recycling the same, 10 to 20,000 users that are playing blockchain games daily today, this problem's got to be solved, and it's got to be solved at a very core level. So we've taken that on. I think the other big piece is our gamers don't have to own or know anything really about crypto to get started. We stake on behalf of our gamers, and they get, don't quote me on this, but several hundred transactions without ever having to own any Wax. And this has been a huge step. I mean, this is why we were able to get prospectors up to, I think, 25,000 DAU during our first launch with them. Those types of numbers I just genuinely don't think are possible if you don't enable simple onboarding and not require people to pay to play. The network itself is a delegated proof of stake. It's extremely low cost, reliable, and fast. So we're talking half-second block times, block production times, which is clearly a big improvement on, we'll call it more mainstream chains. This next piece here is about governance. For those in proof of stake chains, they know how important this is. We've created an Office of the Inspector General, which is basically a third-party platform that rates and grades each of the block producer candidates based on about 100 or so criteria. Try to keep it very objective and based on who's contributing the most to the network, not who's running the biggest exchange and staking tokens on somebody's behalf. The next piece here is Wax Labs. So we launched Wax Labs just a few weeks ago, maybe a few months at this point. With Corona, I'm losing track of time, but it's a multi-million-dollar developer grant program. So basically, it's a venture capital fund with no equity. So we're just kind of looking and evaluating early stage projects, and we really want to kickstart those. And we know that takes some money. So we've set aside several $1 million to help fund those games. And yeah, any developers, go check that out. I've talked a bit about the robust developer portal. I'm not gonna dive into that too much more. You can see that at the site. And then the last but not least is a team that's dedicated to continuously supporting projects and growing the platform. I think, if you talk to any of the dApps doing any real volume on our platform, they have direct contact with us, right? We're not here to just build a platform and a protocol and say, hey, go figure it out on your own. We've got a lot of users from our past businesses and our social followings, our different channels. And we're happy to continuously support these guys, on user acquisition in any way we can help. So that's something that I think is rare in the space and it's kind of been missing. Let me see if this works. So I want to give you guys a snippet of what's coming up. We're launching a new wallet solution here. So it'll be email, password, or I think we support 12 or so social logins, 1 to 2 clicks to get in. You've got an app store built right in. You can manage your tokens, manage your NFTs in a very simple to navigate fashion. We'll be able to help feature our dApps and kind of promote their games to our audiences. I know that we kind of skipped through that. Hold on. This little piece is kind of cool. We've built, NFTs that have multiple abilities. So we have token-backed NFTs, and we also have the ability now to, while we're working with some of these bigger IP partners, use promo codes, or even in the case of physical brands, actually redeem these items in real life. So we're adding this functionality, and we're trying to build the best user experience around that and the simplest onboarding. So yeah, that's basically the snippet of the wallet. Oh, we've got, some educational resources in there that you can highlight. Sending Wax, any Wax-based token for that matter, is extremely simple. And yeah, this is the great work of Dallas Rushing, the founder of Karma. So I think, one thing is it's easy to talk. I wanted to kind of show you that the proof's a bit in the pudding here. So outside of Ethereum, EOS, and Tron, it's the fourth most active blockchain by active daily wallets. We've got about 500,000 Wax cloud wallets live right now, and that number's growing rapidly. I think with the partners and the games that we're bringing on in the coming months, we're going to see that drastically increase and really get up there in terms of active wallet accounts with, the largest chains. The other thing is we are starting to see a lot of dApps leaving other top blockchains, particularly EOS and other EOS.io based chains to come over to Wax. I think it's a combination of many of the things I've talked about in terms of, obviously it's easy to port from EOS to Wax, but I think it's also the continued kind of support and effort that we provide and all of the expertise we kind of help bring to that particular avenue. So yeah, anyways, this is a chart that was recently produced by DApp Radar. Wanted to put that up there. And coming soon, since I know there's a bunch of Wax guys watching this, as many people who follow Wax know, we signed a deal with Tops to be their blockchain provider for their digital cards, their digital blockchain cards. We're launching a GPK first series on May 12th, so mark your calendars there. And then I think, the biggest thing for us is we've really, for the last 2 years, been working very, very closely with many large partners. And I think, these next couple of months is that coming to fruition and us really launching some, household IP. And I think that's a huge step for blockchain. Is we had to come up with the legal frameworks, the legal structure, the technical infrastructure, and the onboarding experience, to even get Tops out there. And now we're going to start seeing, you're going to start seeing a huge influx of different games, different brands, different IP coming to the platform because we were able to solve some of those problems. Lastly here, I'll talk about, fiat on, fiat off ramps, huge business for us. We ran the world's largest peer-to-peer marketplace prior to this, and fiat gateways were a huge portion of that. We've seen the Wax cloud wallet design, and then of course we got new dApps, just like Oleg's Dark Country and 5 or 10 others on the books to come out in the next few months. So very excited about that. I believe I'm over time, so I will stop sharing. Any questions?
Thank you, Evan. Let's move into question. I see there was quite a few in the chat. All right, this one. Let's start.
Why do you think other projects are moving to Wax? Can we expect more projects in the future? Yeah, so I think I highlighted a bit about why I think projects are moving. I think it's mostly because the tools we built, the experience, the onboarding that we built, honestly, they can see that as an avenue to getting to mass adoption. Getting past 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 users and really trying to get up there. I want to see 100,000 DAU in a game. And I think a lot of people see us as, the platform that's willing to push that. And so I think that's one of the main reasons. When is the development of the ETH bridge going to be completed? That's a great question. I think I can't give you a hard date now. I know it's something that's been spec'd out deeply. We'd love to be able to work with some of the ETH-based games, like Skyweaver and doing, getting other NFTs onto our platform for trading purposes. But that being said, I don't have a date for you, man. So yeah, the GPK cards, it's a full-fledged app that we're launching on May 12th, so it'll have its own site. You'll be able to buy them in credit cards as well. So that will be a very, very simple, experience for those who maybe are tops and GPK fans, but not so familiar with Wax or blockchain even for that matter, right? So yeah, it'll be its own site. There'll be a trading infrastructure, a community infrastructure built into that. And I think this is kind of first of several IPs we're going to launch there. All right. What is the most popular game offered by Wax? So right now, Prospectors is the most popular game. Definitely. I know they're doing, I think, like 1.5 to 1.8K a day. Oleg can correct me if I'm wrong. What is the most promising game you are looking forward to releasing this year is the second piece of that question. That I couldn't even tell you, honestly, just from a confidentiality standpoint. But I think, let's put it this way, I think the most important or interesting game coming out that you haven't seen or that isn't known is going to be a household IP. So something that you would have heard of way outside the blockchain space.
All right. We got great question here. And thank you, Evan, for the presentation. It's amazing to see the adoption of Wax. Like, I think you have probably the number one in terms of adoption there. So congrats.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, so next we have Serena from NFT London. Hi, Serena. Are you with? We don't hear you. Hello? Anyone can hear Serena? Maybe.
No, we cannot hear you.
Nope. We can't hear you.
Sorry. Maybe you have to swap your microphone, the settings of the app. StreamYard can make the settings.
We have the screen, but no, still not. No sound. No, we can't. Still not. All right. No, can't hear you. Should we swap? Yes? You okay for Alex to go? Okay. All right, so we'll swap with Alexander from Axie Infinity. Give him the stage now, and Serena will be back with us afterwards. So Alex, the stage is yours.
Hi. So first of all, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can hear me? Great. So then I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm just going to get started. Let's see, where is the sharing here? Share screen. All right. Can you guys see my screen right now?
Yep, all good.
All right. So first of all, hi, everyone. My name is Alexander. I am one of the co-founders of Axie Infinity and Sky Mavis. And I would just like to say thank you, Sebastian, for inviting me here. This is the first official time that Axie Infinity is taking part in anything in regards to the Blockchain Game Alliance. So we're happy about that. So for those of you who don't know anything about Axie, we are building a digital pet universe where players can use their game characters called Axies, which right now are ERC 721 tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. So they start off as eggs, and then they move through various phases in life, as you can see here. And then eventually the plan is for us to let them evolve into really, really strong beasts, similar to kind of what you see in Pokemon. And what's interesting about this is that Axies have been around for about 2 years now, and some of the most expensive Axies that have ever been sold have been sold for over $15,000. So in Axie Infinity, you can use your Axies for various things. We released a few games. So there's a breeding game that has been available from the middle of 2018. Then we released one battle game, which we have sunset. And now we recently released a new battle game, which is a card battle game, where you can use your Axies in dynamic battles against monsters, which are called chimeras, or players, which you can face up against in the leaderboards. So I'm going to show you guys a little demo on that later. That is available both on iOS, Android, and PC. So for those who want to play it, you can play it if you buy some Axies, and then you can get a test flight invitation on iOS, for example. Next is that we're going to be introducing building, so players can purchase land and then fill out that land with various buildings and harvest resources. So it's kind of a combined game with many, many different games inside of it. So what we've seen in Axie is that in comparison to the kind of the lifetime value in traditional gaming, which is estimated to be about $70.27, where there's about 3.8% of the users who are paying users. In Axie Infinity, our users are spending on average about $450. And almost everyone is a paying user. And the reason for that is, well, we believe it's because of the true ownership aspect, among other things. But lately, we've seen a lot of good feedback on what what has been known as play to earn, or a pay to earn. So in Axies, in Axie Infinity, if you own Axies, you can use those game characters to fight inside the card battle game application today. And then you can find in-game tokens such as Axie Die and Axie KNC, which is a Kyber network, and small love potions. And then you can trade those assets after you sync them to the Ethereum blockchain for ETH, and then exit into any kind of currency that you want. So this is something that we see as kind of the future of gaming, and which is, well, we see a lot of really great impact in our community after we launched this feature. So in Axie, if you get on top of the leaderboards, you can, as you can see here, this is for one of the seasons. You can win Axie Die. So for the one who is on top one, he won 50,000 Axie Die, which is the equivalent of $50. So there is some tokens allocated for the people who are at the top of the leaderboard, and some who just kind of win the traditional in PvP or in PvE, which is adventure mode. And once you have these tokens, well, you can go into the dashboard on the webpage, and then you can sync these assets to the Ethereum blockchain. So this is kind of course, very hard for the traditional user. So right now, what we are focusing on is kind of polishing the card game application, and then we're going to make it easier in terms of onboarding and kind of simplify everything so that people don't really need to interact at all with the blockchain to start playing Axie Infinity. So far, our players have actually spent over $1.4 million buying game characters like Axies and Virtual Land. And then we also have our own in-house non-fungible token marketplace, which is like the Axie marketplace, which is actually transacted for over $1.5 million in total volume. But Axie Infinity is more than just numbers. So I mentioned that we've been here since early 2018. And by that time, our focus has been kind of on building a community of artists who are making amazing art, like you can see here. They also make games on top of what we actually realized was an Axie Infinity platform. So when we started developing Axie Infinity, nobody actually knew too much about blockchain games at all. We knew that it could probably change the way that games are being played. And then eventually people started kind of taking it to the next level. And that's kind of why we also wanted to let them take part in this platform by creating these games. They also make leagues. And they also make esports teams. So we actually have, I think, 3 esports teams now in Axie Infinity who are playing in some leagues. And then we also host tournaments officially from Axie Infinity ourselves. But best of all, they are diehard fans who even take Axie Infinity tattoos. And this is something that some of the biggest people in the space have noticed. And that's why we've been able to partner with them. So some of our main partners include Clayton, which is the kind of the blockchain from Kakao, HTC, and Samsung, who actually used Axie Infinity as kind of one of the examples in their recent blockchain SDK. So all of these partners kind of committed to helping us distribute the new card game applications once it is polished and ready. And then, of course, we're also working with some of the top projects within the DeFi space, like MakerDAO, and now lately also Kyber Network. And what these kind of projects recognize is that building a blockchain game right now is very hard, which I'm sure everyone who is in this stream recognizes. To make a game, you actually need to not only understand the blockchain aspect, you also need to understand game design. And for the blockchain, well, we have our team who is based in Vietnam. So I actually changed my life early on in 2018. I quit my job and traveled to Vietnam to kind of start up this company and join some really talented engineers who are building the infrastructure side of Axie. Their background from Google and PayPal. And from the economy side, our growth lead, Jeff, has got an economic and central banking background from Yale. And me, well, I played competitively in Dota 2, and also Warcraft 3 back in the day. So kind of really pushing forward that esports aspect of it. Our focus in 2020 is going to be polishing the new card game application, which is kind of demoed here. So I'm going to show you briefly here while I just talk a little bit about it. So right now, and this is a screen share from the mobile application, so from my iPhone, where I'm playing against some monsters using my abilities, which are card-based, and then attacking. So I'm not going to show you guys the entire video here because it's a little bit long and the presentation is quite short. But our focus for 2020 is kind of polishing this, making it fun, because of course, like the game is already quite fun, but we know that every kind of economic incentives and all these like blockchain aspects is nothing really unless you really have a fun game at the end. And then you can kind of work on reducing friction, and that the end goal is going mainstream with Axie Infinity. And once you've kind of gone mainstream, or once you've succeeded in attracting a lot of users into Axie Infinity, into the universe with this card game, that's kind of when we're taking it to the next stage with the land gameplay, which starts off as kind of similar to what you're kind of familiar with from Clash of Clans, where you kind of have your land plots. You can build it with different kind of buildings, harvest resources, and then eventually it's going to evolve into this virtual world. So we believe that kind of drawing people into a fun, colorful, beautiful universe is kind of the start, and then eventually moving into a virtual world. And then eventually letting people create their own games by kind of providing a map editor, which also has the ability to interact with fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens, so they can issue their own tokens. Which is something that, from my perspective, coming from kind of a Dota background, I know that the best games probably actually come from the community. So both Counter-Strike and Dota actually were made from the community and map editors. So we have really a lot of faith in the community, and we've seen, as I showed you guys earlier, that these guys are building games already. And then eventually, of course, we want to do revenue sharing with third-party developers who are building on top of this platform. And nothing of this can happen unless we're kind of actually turning Axie Infinity into a decentralized organization. So I kind of have autonomous here in the parentheses, because I believe that having an autonomous organization at this stage is kind of a pipe dream. You really need to start off kind of having it a little bit centralized at first, and then kind of progressively decentralizing the platform, allowing people to take ownership through a token, which is I'm not going to talk too much about here, but we're going to be releasing some news about that a little bit later. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I'm not sure how I am on time, but Sebastian, maybe you can chime in. Am I good on time for some questions, or?
You're on time. Yes. 2 more minutes, and I'm going to put them on screen right now.
All right.
So here's one question for you, Alex.
Okay.
If you build your land, can people destroy your buildings?
Hi, David. No, that's not planned. That's not planned actually, but that would be interesting. What I'm more interested in that is actually allowing people to kind of pawn their land or pawn their items. So imagine this: like you want to finish your building, and then you can interact with the DeFi application, such as like MakerDAO, and then you pawn your land, and then you can finish the building on that land plot because you now have enough funds to build on it, and then you can start kind of earning tokens based on that. So I think that's more interesting rather than destroying land. And also, there was another question which I kind of missed. Axie must have more than 1,200 players in this season. Some confirmed players, says John. Actually, right now, we have between 400 and 500 players on a daily basis. We're about between 1,000 and 1,200 every month. So how much penetration has Axie had into the Korean market by partnering with Samsung, asks Blockchain Gamer. So for the Korean market and Samsung, we're actually one of our investors are Hashed, which has helped a lot. They introduced us to Samsung, but our focus has not been kind of reaching the Korean market quite yet because of some regulation there. I think right now we're kind of focusing mostly on making the game as polished as it possibly can be, kind of finding true product market fit, and then going to be publishing it in various markets eventually. Let's see, anything else? There was something, I saw some things about expensive Axies. What is the most expensive Axies? Says Crypto Berto. So the most expensive Axies are those Axies with the mystic kind of the mystic traits. So mystics were only available for a short period of time in the earliest Axie Infinity pre-sales. They're highly limited in quantity. So some of them have actually increased in value quite massively. And if you guys want to find out more about that, you can check us out on Twitter, Axie Infinity, where we are sharing information about that kind of frequently. And so says Uriel, what would be your recommendation about strategy to an Axie novice player? If you're an Axie novice player, I would suggest you join our Discord immediately at axieinfinity.com/Discord. And we have a lot of really friendly community members who would like to help you out. If not, and then there's also a lot of guides that you can just read, where you can find in the Getting Started channel over on Discord. So yeah, that was some blitzkrieg questions. I hope you guys got them already. But yeah, really happy to be here, and thank you once again, Sebastian.
Great, thank you, Alex. Or you can keep going on the question in the channel, and now we are going to try to have Serena on the stage, who will be closing this meetup today. Hi, Serena.
Hi, everyone. Can you confirm you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Thank you, and apologies for earlier. Shall I start sharing my screen, or I don't know if you have any more questions?
Let's go ahead.
That's great. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce myself and confirm you can see the slides. Can you?
We can. Perfect. You can go.
Great. Okay, so I'm Serena. I have recently joined NFT London Meetup, which is an amazing team of people really eager to inform and educate everyone and the community, especially in London, about what NFT is and the different applications. So I was very happy to join the team. I'm also the founder and CEO of MACTA, which is the Museum of Contemporary Digital Art, and we've done a meetup together, which I will tell you more in a few minutes. So as we go through the slides, I will tell you the story of NFT London Meetup. So we are based in London. As you may know, London is famous for having lots of different pubs, and that's where people normally gather together. And that's where the meetup started. So about a year and a half ago, the first meetup in London happened in a pub. And as you can see, there were about 10 people, including John and Armando, and Yannis, who were the founders of the London Meetup. And this is what it looked like. After that, we've soon increased in number in terms of the popularity of the meetup, because it was the first meetup of its kind in London, talking about NFT. So since then, we've onboarded a team that helped with the expansion, the online events, workshops, and exhibitions. And as you can see here on the slide, again, Armando and John, who were the main founders of the London NFT Meetup. Then in August 2019, NFT London Meetup has officially joined forces with two of the major meetups in the UK, CoinScrum, and Ethereum London. And we had an amazing meetup in a park. We had a picnic, and that was really interesting. There's a little video here I'm going to try and play just to give you a sense of what it's been like. Oh, there you go. Sorry. So it was quite fun to see people joining in the park and having a nice conversation around. You can see different brands and projects that we've been hosting and collaborating with. But yes, this is to give you a feeling of what we're about. We like to connect, to share the experience, and to talk about NFTs while having a beer. Why not? But yes, this is what we did. Since then, we've grown quite a lot, actually, and we've then integrated the partnership with WeWork, which, as you know, has great venues all across London. And we did our first meetup in partnership with WeWork, which was the Blockchain Labs. And that's where we presented Crypto Caju, which is a project from Manchester, and they build these toys with NFTs inside that you can trace and trade. And they were our very first guest for the joint partnership with WeWork, and it was very successful. We then hosted Known Origin, so I've got another video here to show you. As you know, Known Origin trades digital art on the blockchain and is one of the major platforms alongside Super Rare. And we had this meetup in Canary Wharf, and it was very well attended, and we discovered there was a lot of interest around NFT and art. So we kind of went on that route and explored how NFT and art could be more in communication, because the audience was very much interested about hearing what's happening behind the scenes of creating an NFT when it gets associated with digital art. So then we did our 10th meetup event, and that was a joint partnership and effort with MOCDA, Museum of Contemporary Digital Art, which I also do represent, and NFT London. So we were hosting the meetup in an art gallery, Bloomsbury Art Gallery, which is just around the corner from the British Museum, and we had blockchain art collaborating on this project and putting the exhibition together. And we had artists like Veza, for example, exhibiting, and Tom Bradley. And we had a greater attendance, and we exhibited art and talked about MOCDA and how collaboration with the NFT London meetup. The latest meetup we had went fully online because of the current situation that we are all in lockdown. So we've got Sandbox, Somnium, and Matic, to present. And we also launched an after-party discussion, which is currently going on since then on Discord. So if anyone is interested in hearing more about who we are and what we do, please go ahead and join us on Discord and Twitter to find out more. But you may be interested in hearing where we're heading and what we're gonna do next. So we really believe that inspiring and influence a growing generation of digital enthusiasts is necessary, because what I personally discovered is that there's a lack of understanding, and I'm talking about the general audience here, about the technology and what NFTs is, and what the applications are. And we're very much fascinated about exploring that relationship between art and NFT. So we want to encourage outstanding organizations to present their advancements on digital asset management and trade via smart contracts and NFT. Focus our attention on the intersection between technology and asset with an artistic value. So these are the points that we want to be looking at in the near future. What is coming up soon are a series of workshops, and one on that Dominic is currently working on. And if you do have any question for him, he's available in the live comments. is a workshop that will make the audience better understand and engage with what's happening behind the scene when an NFT gets created and what the smart contracts are used for when applied to digital assets. So we want then to promote a better audience engagement on smart contracts and dApps to encourage the adoption of best practice and tools. Of course, extend our social reach in London and globally. So we currently are in conversation with groups in Berlin and New York. So we really want to create an NFT art organization, meetups that can function globally and not just in London. And actually, the COVID-19 has given us the opportunity to really reach out to a larger audience and engage with sponsors to deliver an increasingly exceptional content. So we are, there's quite a few of us. That's myself, Yanis, who's collaborating with Dominic. Dom is leading the efforts for the workshop side. Armando and John, the core team of London Meetup, the two founders who are organizing the workshops and the minds behind this lovely organization. And then we've got Matt, who recently joined us, who's managing the Discord channel. And this is us. So if you do have any question about the Meetup London, I'm more than happy to answer them. And if you have any more technical questions, please do refer to Dom in the chat and Armando as well, who's watching. I hope you can still hear me and see me, but if you do have questions.
Yep. Let's see.
Okay, so I can see some comments.
Simple question. What's the Discord link? We can put it in comments.
Sure. I'll pass it on to you. So you can look up for NFT London Meetup, and I'll send you now the link to connect. And maybe my my team can put it up on the live comments as well for people to join. But yes, essentially London Meetup, it exists to socialize and educate and promote the applications of NFTs and particularly on art. And we've made a collaboration with MOCDA, which is the Museum of Contemporary Digital Art. Thank you. So yes, if you're interested, we have a Meetup page as well. So you can just sign up there. You'll get newsletters and you'll find all the previous Meetups. And you can join us there. So you'll find out more about what's coming up next. The workshop we're planning to do will be ready in a couple of months. But if we manage to do that earlier, we will let you know. Yes, well, actually, good question. So has it been difficult to explain about NFTs and onboard digital artists? I think it's not really difficult, but in a way, there's many digital artists that do carry on and operate on commission without knowing that blockchain exists, without knowing that they can protect their digital asset and make it into an NFT. So I think it's essential for them to understand what steps are and the reason why there needs to be a best practice for that. And also to support the market, which is really essential. So if you're looking at platforms like CryptoBox or SuperRed, Non-Origin, they're all backed up by blockchain technology. You don't see it, but there needs to be an understanding from the artist. I can tell you that most of the artists are not aware, and our mission is to communicate that and to make sure that there is an understanding. Sorry, I did skip a few questions. What's the first step to get into NFTs? Understand what it is. So I would say, first of all, curiosity. You need to be wanting to know what that is and how you can use it. And then the application. So if you're interested in the use case, then obviously you will get on and understand and learn more about what NFTs are. I don't think you need to know as an artist, they're all behind the scene of how the technology works, but you need to know how to use it and how it's beneficial for you. So for example, the workshops that we're setting up, they are specifically addressed to those that want to have a good understanding without diving into the tech.
All right.
Any more questions?
One last question. I'm not sure. There's this one. I'm not sure if it's.
Are you creating teams for competitive crypto games alliance or something alike? Not that I'm aware of. No. But we are more about informing, educating, promoting. So we'll be given the space to organizations to come and talk about that project, and then we will build those relationships, and we want to reach out to the global audience. So it's more about the promotion and education and workshops where you can come and learn more about the tech. I hope that answered that.
All right.
And I agree. Yeah, information on OpenSea is also very clear.
Yes. They have a fabulous NFT Bible. That's really the go-to resource. Super rich, very well documented. Yes.
That's very true.
All right. So that ends today's meetup. We've had amazing speakers who presented their game, product, and services with all ranges of things that can be done involving blockchain, NFTs, decentralization, APIs, backend, front-end games. So I think it's really a good overview that we gave with all the speakers today. We have a few more minutes before we close. I would say about 10 minutes. So I can propose, if the audience want to ask questions to all speakers and we just pick and answer them, I can do that, some sort of like informal panel, or if not, we'll just end it there. Let me put everyone on screen. So Dirk is here, Michael, Evan, Serena, and Arthur. Oh, and Alex as well. And let me put Arthur. Oh, okay.
There's some background walking here, so that's why my camera's off.
Do we think that NFT market will be trending this year? I think it's already trending, so let me answer that one. It's easy one. I picked the easy question.
Are you replying?
Another question? Someone else? Go ahead. We have still 10 minutes. 10 minutes to ask anything you like to our speakers today.
I can give you an answer about art. And I've seen some of my friends and colleagues trading art and raising quite a fair amount of money and giving those to charities during those times. And they've been able to raise maybe 150 times more the amount of the asset when they first purchased it. So that was incredibly, it was touching to see that art can actually be meaningful and support others during these times. And something I also wanted to address is that I would love to see more women into this space. I know that tech can be, can sort of scare off a lot of people. I don't come from a tech background, but this is kind of like an invitation to everyone to be more friendly and welcoming towards women, sort of approaching and accessing these tools that may be, a little scary at first, but we can use them, and I hope this is a message out to everyone.
You may be chiming in to that answer. I think NFT will get a big amount of growth once it's out of our community, let's say small community. Maybe Wall Street Journal, someone reports about a digital good which has been sold for X amount of dollars, and because then I think that's the time when the mass market will also start paying attention, and then actually I think then things will accelerate, and I think that's why it's great to be in the space currently.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll take this one. If there are going to be a space to store art NFTs from all different chains, I think virtual worlds will actually be the place to store all different kind of art from any kind of chain, because our vision is to also to support different chains and let people choose where they want to mint things in our VR world. So I think all the worlds which are out there ideally would then later on support different chains and different types of art, be it a 3D model or video or GIF or just a still image. Whatever you can imagine should be actually cross-supported through those worlds.
Okay. What's wrong with fungibility? Well, I think these are different. I'm reading just one question. I mean, fungibility, of course, is a different concept in the sense of, like Bitcoin or whatever is fungible, right? You can exchange in quotation marks each one with each other, while non-fungible, it's, everything's unique. I think there's also one is somehow a little bit hybrid. You have semi-fungible tokens also, right? Where, you have maybe just take a print, like in the real world, where if you have 100 prints, they're all the same prints, but there's a limited number of something. You might have maybe 100 semi-fungible tokens of a sword in a game, which is, but it's everywhere actually the same, but there are only 100 pieces of that.
Yeah, I mean, to add on to that, I saw that question and I really liked it. I think I'm more of a fan of fungibility than most in the space. I think partial ownership, especially of important and valuable assets, is an extremely powerful mechanism. I don't view it as just like the cryptocurrency side where it's, Bitcoin for Bitcoin, but actual fractional ownership of large value items. I think there's some sort of pseudo fungibility, not just in the sense of multiple issuances of the same item, but of actually, there's this other whole space that I've been kind of diving into recently. We can talk about it another day, but yeah, there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead if you have. I'm
Yeah.
seeing the question.
Sure. I was just going to say for Skyweaver, it's primarily card game players, so a lot of Hearthstone and Magic players. We have a number of crypto enthusiasts as well, but the vast majority are gamers, but most of whom don't have blockchain experience.
That's a good sign, man. I think that's a great sign.
Yeah.
For us, it's kind of it's an interesting mix because we have a lot of VR people coming in and a lot of blockchain enthusiasts who are actually learning VR. And they're all meet in our Discord and in InWorld, and it's an interesting dynamic there because for both of those, those are kind of very new technologies, let's say, for a majority of people. And when they meet together and they learn and teach themselves, both of those technologies sometimes are super cool, interesting discussions happening. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I think for Axie's sake, since we've been here for some time, the early crowd is very much on the crypto side, and then lately we're seeing kind of as we do some small ads, like we're testing a little bit of marketing, we see that like there's rolling in a lot of people who just have no clue.
The positive things in the blockchain gaming community. And first of all, I think we're all thankful that we have the Blockchain Gamer Alliance here now. That's why we're all here, and thank you, Seb, for promoting that. And I think also that we talk to each other, right, between the games here. I think that's very important because we always have to wear at the end of the day the head of the player, right? And they want to use maybe multiple games, right? It's just in real life they have multiple games, right? So I think we have to partner, cooperate as best as we can, right? So with the players in mind, so that they can carry over the assets from one game to the other or what have you, right? I think that's probably something which will make this community thrive even further.
I am not 100% sure.
let's answer yes. I don't know. Why not? Why not? Or the best answer, if you don't know the answer, you should always say it depends. So,
Well, that's a good one. That's a good fallback.
We'll think about it in the future.
All right. One last question, maybe, and we will call it a night. Thanks, everyone.
Right.
To build Matic or Wax? Aha. Yes. Thank you, Blockchain Gamer.
I think we're not getting more questions. At least I'm not seeing one.
To build on Matic or Wax, that seems like a question for you, Evan.
I mean, that's a loaded question here. I try to be objective here. I'm honestly not that familiar with Matic, so for me to even answer it would be one. I'm going to say Wax, right? I'll just give you guys that. And two, I don't know enough about Matic's underpinnings to even give you a salient argument as to what are the pros and cons of each. So I hate to disappoint you there.
Chloe, I think one of the big answers to that question is making products and games that the average person loves, and then generating more mainstream interest that will extend into other industries, like musicians or other artists creating items that they want to sell to their fans, and more enterprises and larger brands entering the space because they see the success of companies that are on this call.
I would add to that. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I totally appreciate Chloe's question on that point. And I also wanted to give a big shout out to all artists creating games, which we often don't see.
Anyone?
All the graphics, all the work that goes on the games that we're all making, it is done by artists. I will call them artists with capital A, and reward them for that. And at the same time, by acknowledging that as an artist's work, I would then think that it would incentivize others, such as musicians and crypto artists, digital artists, 3D, 4D, and so forth, to understand what technologies can do and how to use those tools.
I'll just add.
It is a learning process, but it has to start from somewhere. And obviously, the gaming industry is huge.
I'll just add one thing to that question, and it's a great question indeed. I think one of the most important parts we see as a platform, and especially in VR, is use case. Whenever there is a real use case and people see and understand that use case, they will come in and they will do it. So, whether it's you're an artist and you monetize because you have a crypto gallery in VR, or you have a dance club where people dance every Saturday, or you can have a conference there, or whatever that is, if you understand the use case and that use case is easy to use and monetize, then you'll do it. And I think that's where kind of the holy grail of mass adoption lies, kind of to get to people and understand why a use case on NFTs is better than the use case without them, right? And it applies to every platform we talked today about.
100%. That needs to be a clear benefit, and the user experience is, 95%.
We don't hear you, Sebastian.
I don't see any more questions. I was saying it's been a fantastic event. I didn't see those 2 hours pass. It felt like, wow, I think it falls so fluidly. Every speaker, good preparation and great attendance. We've had almost 100 people watching at peak time, and now still 45. So I hope you enjoy presenting today, being able to chat as well with each other and answer some of the questions from our viewers. I'll be open to any feedback, so feel free to send me by email, Telegram, Discord, any suggestion for keeping improving those events. And I'll be looking to organize several more.
Awesome.
I have one. Let's do it in VR. I'm off.
Yeah,
That was cool.
Help us if you're ready to help us put it in place. You need to make it on Mac. It's only PC at the moment, so.
Oh Mac. Oh Mac. Those Mac people. All right. Yeah, we'll do something. We'll try. But you know, it's VR. Mac should support VR natively first, then we'll do it on Mac, of course.
Okay. Great. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to end the stream now.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.